10 things you didn't know about Zendaya. There are actually some things you don't know about your favorite celebrity, Zendaya. Sometimes we think that we know everything about our celeb crushes. But today, we are going to prove it's not always like that. Do you know what did she want to become, rather than approaching acting career? Do you know why she did repeat kindergarten twice? Join us to find out all the hidden details about Z. Let's get started. Number 10. The real meaning of her name. Zendaya's name is one of the most recognized throughout the world. We gotta admit that her name sounds super unique and fancy, but do you know what it actually means? In 2011, she was interviewed and has opened up about the interesting meaning behind her first name, and she revealed where it came from. My name means to give thanks in Shona, and it was actually kind of half made up and half real. Shona is a language of the people of Southern Africa, which reflects Zendaya's African roots. She further explained that the original plan was to use a J name for her first name, before her father had the idea to add the letter Z to the start of her name instead. It started off as Zendaya, or something like that. And my dad has a thing for Z's and Zen. Very nice and calm, and so he helped name me Zendaya. So it was a collection of both my parents and their creative ideas. Number 9. She is a Potterhead. Back in 2019, when she was asked to define what self-care means to her, she said that she finds it hard to sit and meditate. So instead, she rewatches the Harry Potter films. People say I'm crazy, but I watch Harry Potter like once a day. It's just calming to me, so that's my thing. People are like, oh my god, Harry Potter again? And I say, don't come over to my house if you don't want to watch it, because it's going to be on. Fans probably aren't shocked that Zendaya uses Harry Potter to relax and recenter. The star is openly obsessed with the wizarding world. She even celebrated her 22nd birthday last year with a Harry Potter studio tour at the Warner Brothers lot in London. The tour doesn't include the actors from the movie, but there are robot versions of the characters. And Zendaya shared videos of Lord Voldemort and Nearly Headless Nick. Fans also get to watch a video of her flying on a broomstick in front of a green screen. Number 8. She was bullied. Similar to a number of children and young people, Zendaya faced a lot of teasing in school. I was made fun of in school, but it didn't bother me very much because I was very comfortable in who I was. I was taught as a young child by my parents and family to love myself, and it's the same today. There are certain things that don't bother me, she said. She recalled an incident in 5th grade where she didn't step up for her classmate who was being bullied. Some parents, hearing the story, wrote it off as kids being kids, but not Zendaya's parents. They pulled me out of the classroom, and I got a little bit cussed out. I was like, this is BS. I didn't do anything. But the point was, when you see something happening, you don't just stand there. Knowing something is wrong and not doing anything is basically like doing it. Ever since then, she's made it her mission to step in and advocate for bullied children, whenever she can. She still lives by that philosophy. Number 7. She wanted to be a teacher. Both of Zendaya's parents, Claire Stormer and Kazembe Ajamu Coleman, are teachers, so she was introduced to the profession at a young age. My parents are educators, and they've been a major influence on me. Teachers are very important figures in society, despite being one of the least paid. They spend their lives dedicating themselves to helping young people learn about the world and life in general. If I wasn't in this business, I would have probably followed in their path, Zendaya said. Her mother has been honored as a local hero in Oakland, California, for her work bringing Shakespeare and the arts to students. Her father worked at her grade school as a PE teacher, so she also got to see him in action. Number 6. First date memories. Long before Zendaya joined the cast of Spider-Man, she fell in love with the franchise on her very first date. She may have joined the cast at 19 years old, but she's loved them since she was 16. The Euphoria star revealed that she went to see a Spider-Man movie for her first date as a teen. She didn't specify which film she saw, but it's not hard to figure out which film was in theaters by that time. Don't worry, we already did the math. And it's The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. My first date was to Spider-Man, and I was obsessed with it immediately. I've always kind of related to Spider-Man. I think a lot of people do because he's a real person. He's not just the superhero all the time. He is, at the end of the day, Peter Parker, who is a 15-year-old kid, which we can all relate to, she said. Zendaya continued on to share that she thought Spider-Man was the most real hero because of how relatable he was. We've all been that awkward teenager and had that time in our life. Everybody has. So I think he was the realest superhero. He was tangible to people. It just happened that was my first date, and then, here we are now. It's crazy, she added. Number 5. She studied kindergarten twice. Zendaya's bubbly personality shined through in her social media posts, interviews, and in her non-Euphoria performances. But the former Disney star was apparently not always so great at engaging with others. When she was younger, she would sit in the circle with the other kids and be totally silent. Her mother, Claire Stormer, said, who even added that Zendaya ultimately repeated kindergarten so that she could socially catch up to her peers. Even now, even after achieving international fame, she agrees that she is not a social butterfly at all. Number 4. Her secrets to being a great actor. Throughout her long journey, Z has learned the importance of being vulnerable and taking risks. In an interview with Interview magazine, she got candid about what it takes to be great. And without the two important things, greatness is impossible to achieve. I think something that many actors have, which is something you learn, is that you can't be afraid to look stupid. You can't be afraid to mess up. You can't be afraid of anything. I'm trying to apply that to other parts of my life, because I'm always afraid to do things in fear of not being great. But the only way to get great is to be fearless and try, Zendaya shared. Well, being fearless is easier said than done. We get it, and even Zendaya struggled to fully overcome her emotions during the first season of Euphoria. Obviously, she found her way, but it was certainly a challenge for her in the beginning. If I'm gonna be 100% honest, when we first started working together on Euphoria, the thing she struggled the most with was giving herself permission to be emotionally vulnerable in a scene. I don't fault her for that. When you get to the level she's at in her career, you have to simultaneously have thick skin as an individual while also being emotionally open as an actor. It's a real mindfuck, and I don't envy it, Euphoria's director Sam Levinson said. Number 3. What's her pet peeve? As for our young lady in question, she's definitely got her fair share of pet peeves. But there's one in particular that absolutely takes the winner place. She can't stand chipped nail polish. Sources close to the star say how careful she is with her nails, often applying her own polish, rare for a celebrity of her status. And whenever she sees chipped nails on someone, she goes absolutely nuts. It bothers her so much that she can't get over it. Number 2. Anxiety. The pandemic has been challenging for many people, especially those dealing with mental health issues. For Zendaya, anxiety made itself known at a young age. Back before she became a household name, she can recall feeling anxious when taking an exam for school. My anxiety first started when I was younger, and I had to take a test at school. I remember panicking, and my teacher had to walk me out of the room and say, "Calm down, deep breaths." As Zendaya got older and lived more of her life in the spotlight, her anxiety flared up once more. Being constantly scrutinized for one's every move can be a huge burden to anyone, no matter how well-adjusted they are. Furthermore, Zendaya's perfectionist tendencies also factored into her anxiety making itself more known. Number 1. Secret talent. Zendaya has been vocal about her love of ice cream. But did you know she eats a little differently than the rest of us? As she demonstrated in a Secret Talent Theater segment with Vanity Fair, her teeth are not sensitive to cold, which allows her to bite directly into ice cream with her incisors. That seems insane, doesn't it? What do you think about Zendaya? Isn't she the coolest? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.